always love the videos or the blog articles or whatever happens to be, 5 tips about something or 7 tips you have to know about a certain topic. And that's what I'm going to do in this one when it comes to the gradient tool, because it's kind of interesting. There's lots of different areas inside of Photoshop and lots of special effects, lots of things like that. The problem is there's so many little features you'd never know about, and you just kind of pick up as little tips here and there. So I figured I'd just dedicate a video to pretty much all the tips, all the little undocumented things that you'll never see in a menu about the gradient tool. So we're here in the toolbox. Just come over, select the gradient tool there. And let's start off on the left-hand side. First is the gradient picker. Okay, the first gradient here is foreground to background. The next one is foreground to transparent. I'm just going to press the letter D, and it's going to set my foreground and background colors to their default. And in fact, let me just change to a reddish color. That way we'll be able to actually see that it changes here. So foreground to background, foreground to transparent, or black and white, and then some other ones in here. And I use these first 3 a lot, and I used to always come in here and click on the arrow and then choose the gradient. Well, what you can do is press the period key, and that cycles through the gradients in that list. It goes forward. And then if you press the comma, it goes backward. So I don't know that I use all these other ones a whole lot. And if you get to the end, you'll see kind of just stops there at the end. But I'll press the comma key, I'll go back. And the colorful ones, special effects or whatnot. But the first 3, foreground to background, foreground to transparent, and black and white, I use all the time. Okay, so just remember those keyboard shortcuts, the period key or the comma key. Moving over to the right, we have the gradient types, and this is, you got linear, you got the radial, you got that one, you got reflected, and diamond. What the heck is that? I always forget. It's like I look at it, it's angled, I think it is. Hover over it, it'll tell you in a second. There we go, angle gradient. So bear with me, I'm new to this Photoshop program. I'm just trying to work my way through it. So no, I'm just teasing. Anyway, if you choose one and you want to switch to another one, just press the right bracket key. Right bracket key goes forward and eventually starts to the beginning. If you want to go backward, just press the left bracket key. So just between right bracket and left bracket, and that'll cycle through all the different types of gradients. The next one is the blend mode area. You can see we have all the blend modes we're used to using here. And if you want to change them, you could of course pick them from the list, or just press Shift plus on the Mac. That goes down the list. And then Shift plus on the Mac. On the Mac and the PC, it's all Shift. And then the minus key, and that goes backwards. So plus goes down the list, the minus key goes up the list. Quick way to change those. And then finally, we have opacity, and you can, of course, use the slider. It's even got a little scrubby slider. If you hold your cursor over it and move, I can't talk today, move your cursor over it back and forth, you can see you can change it. Or just hit a keyboard shortcut. 5 goes to 50, 2 goes to 20%, 9 goes to 90%, 1 goes to 10%. You get the idea. If I do 100, that takes me back to 100. And if I do like 4, 5, if I press 4 and then 5 pretty quickly, that takes me to 45%. Okay, so thought it'd be interesting again just to kind of go through a tool. You can pick up all these little tips here and there, but if you want to know all of the tips as it comes to keyboard shortcuts that exist with the gradient tool. Now, there's lots of things we can do with the gradient tool. In fact, that's probably another great video is, 5 uses of the gradient tool you never thought of. I'll keep that idea for the future, but for now, at least 5 kind of undocumented tips when it comes to working with the gradient tool.